Welcome, gentle listener, to another quiet evening with the sleepy historian. Tonight, we drift slowly into the world of ancient Egypt, a land of warm sands, towering monuments, and timeless whispers. You found your place among the soft glow of lamplight, perhaps curled under blankets, with the day's worries melting quietly into the night. This is the moment for boring history for sleep, where the past unfolds not with clamor, but with gentle, soothing rhythms, guiding you toward rest. Imagine yourself walking through a sun-dappled Egyptian street, long before our modern cities stirred with engines and chatter. The air is thick with the scent of papyrus, baked clay, and the faint sweetness of bread cooling on doorsteps. Merchants speak softly as they arrange baskets of dried fish and fragrant oils. In these streets, unnoticed by most, ordinary people performed extraordinary yet peculiar jobs, careers that time has largely forgotten, yet once shaped the rhythm of everyday life. And tonight, we will explore them slowly, each story a soft ripple in the vast river of history. From the curious to the unexpected, the peculiar occupations of ancient Egypt reveal the subtle complexity of their civilization. You will meet professionals whose lives seem almost mundane today, yet whose contributions kept temples humming, granaries filled, and royal rituals in motion. Perhaps some of these roles will amuse you. Others may seem strange, and yet all existed with purpose. The beauty lies not in dramatic battles or grand conquests, but in the quiet persistence of daily life. As you settle in, let the calm narration wash over you. We will journey into the world of scribes whose pens danced across papyrus, artisans who carved tiny details into sacred statues, and laborers whose specialized skills ensured the seamless flow of society. Each story will unfold deliberately, gently, in the soft cadence meant to cradle your mind. There is no rush here, only the timeless cadence of history whispering through the ages. If this kind of slow, thoughtful storytelling brings you rest, you may like the video or subscribe, but only if it genuinely eases your mind. And if you feel like sharing, leave a comment below about where you're listening from, or even the time of night. It's oddly comforting to know who else drifts toward sleep alongside these ancient tales. Dim the lights. Let the murmurs of ancient Egypt surround you, and allow the overlooked and forgotten jobs of this civilization to unfold, one quiet detail at a time. Tonight, the history that has slipped through the cracks of memory will finally have its moment. And you, dear listener, will witness it in the softest, most peaceful way possible. Imagine yourself wandering through the sun-baked streets of a bustling Egyptian village, the soft murmur of everyday life surrounding you. The air carries a gentle warmth, tinged with the aroma of freshly baked bread and the faint earthiness of the Nile's fertile banks. Children chase one another between the low mud brick homes, their laughter rising and fading like distant ripples on a quiet pond. Somewhere nearby, the rhythmic clatter of pottery on stone hints at the labor of skilled hands, each motion deliberate, measured, essential. In the midst of this calm activity, certain professions occupy a curious space between necessity and peculiarity. Take, for example, the Sema priest, whose work revolved around ritual cleanliness and preparation for sacred ceremonies. Imagine him moving slowly, almost like a shadow, through the temple corridors, sweeping dust and arranging offerings. His role might seem modest to a modern eye, but in a society where every gesture held cosmic significance, his diligence ensured the delicate balance between human and divine. The tools of his trade are simple yet precise. Smooth wooden wands, soft linen cloths, and the faintly scented oils used to anoint statues of gods. Each task is performed with a rhythm that might seem repetitive, but within this repetition lies a serene order, a constant pulse of daily devotion. Elsewhere, a less celebrated yet equally vital occupation unfolds in the granaries. The grain measurers move slowly through stacks of barley and emmer wheat, their hands brushing the stalks as if to whisper reassurance to the stored harvest. Their work requires patience and accuracy, for the prosperity of the village depends on their careful counting. Imagine the subtle sounds of shifting grain, the soft crunch beneath sandals, and the faint dust motes suspended in warm shafts of sunlight. It is a quiet, meticulous labor, almost meditative, and though rarely recounted in stories, it forms the invisible backbone of the community's stability. Along the Nile, boatmen glide across calm waters in narrow wooden vessels, their oars dipping rhythmically into the river, creating soft, rippling patterns on the surface. Among them, specialized workers known as papyrus harvesters move with a gentle, practiced grace. Picture them leaning over the banks, cutting slender stalks of papyrus with knives sharpened but unassuming, careful not to disturb the fragile ecosystem of reeds. Each harvested stalk promises to become a scroll, a record, or a canvas for knowledge, linking their quiet efforts to the grand currents of civilization itself. These are jobs of subtle importance, carried out in near silence, yet they shape the cultural and practical life of the people in profound ways. Consider also the perfume makers, artisans whose work seems almost magical. Their hands mix aromatic resins, oils, and flowers in careful proportions, creating scents that drift gently through homes and temples alike. Imagine yourself inhaling the delicate fragrance, soft as a breeze, the blend of lotus, myrrh, and frankincense calming the senses. These perfumers move with unhurried precision, each drop measured, each mixture stirred with patience and care. Their labor is not noisy nor ostentatious, yet it imbues daily life with subtle comfort, a quiet luxury that whispers across time to us now, nearly forgotten. Even the rat catchers hold a strangely dignified place in this society. Picture them walking along sunlit alleys and granary walls, carrying simple tools, observing the faint rustle of pests that threaten the stores of grain. Their task is humble, even overlooked, yet without their vigilance, the fragile balance of food storage and supply could falter. They move with a careful patience, blending observation with quiet action, and in this, there's a rhythm akin to meditation, a measured response to a persistent challenge. Through all these professions, there is a common thread, a dedication to precision, routine, and balance. The peculiar jobs of ancient Egypt may not always appear heroic in the sense of grandeur or spectacle, but they're the gentle pulse that keeps society moving. Imagine walking through this village, observing the rhythm of life, hearing the soft murmur of work, feeling the warmth of the sun, the cool shadows beneath the awnings, and the faint scent of oils and river mud. In this calm tapestry, every movement has meaning, every sound a quiet accompaniment to the ongoing story of daily existence. As your mind drifts along these gentle scenes, picture the artisans shaping small figurines, the scribes inscribing careful marks on papyrus, and the attendants quietly tending to temple rituals. Each task, no matter how minor it may seem to us now, carries weight and purpose, forming the invisible threads that bind the community together. Their work is slow, deliberate, and absorbing in its quietness, a soft, rhythmic narrative that invites your own thoughts to wander peacefully, like a lazy boat drifting along the Nile. Even in these overlooked corners of daily life, one can sense a remarkable order. The hum of activity is constant, but never hurried. The air is filled with subtle sounds, scents, and textures. Every job, no matter how strange or forgotten, contributes to the gentle flow of civilization. And as you imagine these moments, the brushing of dust from temple floors, the counting of grain, the soft slicing of papyrus stalks, you may feel a calm settling over you, a connection across millennia, a quiet awareness of the steady, almost hypnotic rhythm of lives long past. In this first glimpse into daily life, we begin to see the wonder of ordinary tasks and the calm dignity in forgotten professions. Let us now, as the sun casts long, soft shadows across the village, prepare to explore the second part of daily life, where we will meet the individuals whose roles, though peculiar, are essential to the sacred and practical heartbeat of ancient Egypt. As the morning sun drifts higher over the Egyptian horizon, the village stirs with quiet purpose. The air grows warmer, carrying faint scents of baked bread and river mud, while the occasional flutter of birds breaks the gentle hush. In this slow, unhurried rhythm of life, the more unusual and largely forgotten occupations of ancient Egypt begin to reveal themselves. These are the roles that rarely find mention in grand histories or heroic tales, yet they form the subtle undercurrent of daily life, ensuring society functions with its measured order. One such occupation is that of the linen folder, a position of meticulous precision and understated importance. Imagine rows of soft, woven linen drying under the sun, their gentle folds catching the light, and a worker carefully aligning each piece with deliberate movements. The linen folder's hands glide over the fabric repeatedly, ensuring symmetry and neatness, preparing the material for use in clothing, temple rituals, or as offerings to deities. It is a task that demands patience and attention to detail, almost meditative in its repetition, yet crucial to both the sacred and mundane aspects of Egyptian life. Nearby, in shaded courtyards, ink makers quietly ply their craft. Picture them grinding minerals into fine powders, mixing with water, plant gum, and other natural ingredients, until the smooth ink is ready for scribes. The air carries the faint scent of the materials, earthy and slightly sweet, a subtle fragrance that lingers in quiet rooms. These artisans understand the delicate balance required to produce a consistent, reliable medium for writing. The scribes themselves will eventually take these inks and inscribe records of trade, prayers, and rituals, yet without the slow, precise work of the ink makers, the written word might falter. Observe the careful grinding, the gentle stirring, the soft brushing of residue from stone surfaces, the calm rhythm of labor connecting generations across time. Along the sun-drenched banks of the Nile, reed gatherers ply another subtle yet essential trade. These workers move slowly, bending to clip the tall, slender stalks, taking care not to damage the surrounding plants or disturb the fragile ecosystem. Their hands move with familiarity, almost instinctively, as if the river and its reeds guide their actions. These harvested stalks will become mats, baskets, or even boats, weaving the natural world directly into the fabric of daily life. The faint rustle of leaves and the gentle lapping of water create a soft auditory backdrop, the kind that encourages a wandering, relaxed mind. In quieter corners of the village, beetle and insect collectors conduct their delicate work. Though it may seem unusual to modern ears, these individuals harvest insects for dyes, medicines, and sometimes even as offerings in religious rituals. Their movements are careful and deliberate, hands hovering, eyes scanning the earth and plants for tiny life, never hurried, always patient. Each discovery is cataloged or prepared with gentle attention, contributing to the larger mosaic of daily life. This is a reminder that even the smallest and most seemingly insignificant details of life were attended to with care, reflecting a society that valued balance, order, and subtle harmony. The fish gutters, another peculiar occupation, also deserve mention. By the river, these workers prepare fish for preservation and consumption. Imagine the soft, repetitive motions, the faint aroma of river fish mingling with the warmth of sun-baked mud, a rhythm so constant it could lull one into reverie. Though the task is essential to nutrition and trade, it is executed quietly, without fanfare, blending seamlessly into the broader flow of village activity. Then there are the seal keepers, responsible for stamping and securing containers of valuable goods. Each seal is applied with precision, a soft impression in clay or wax that protects grains, oils, and crafted items during transport or storage. Their careful hands ensure order in trade and daily supply, an almost imperceptible vigilance that upholds the invisible structures of society. Across all these occupations, one observes a delicate balance between necessity and ritual, between survival and devotion. Life in ancient Egypt is slower, gentler, and more deliberate than we might imagine. Each task, no matter how peculiar or mundane, contributes to the rhythm of existence, forming an intricate web of interdependent actions. The steady motion of hands, the soft sounds of fabric brushing, clay being molded, reeds being cut, all combine into a symphony of understated, almost hypnotic activity. As you drift along these vignettes of daily life, allow yourself to settle into the calm cadence of the ancient village. Picture the linen being folded, ink being ground, reeds bending in the river breeze, and small insects being carefully collected. Each scene flows gently into the next, a quiet journey through tasks that shaped centuries of civilization. With each imagined step along sunlit streets and shadowed courtyards, the peculiar professions of Egypt emerge not as curiosities, but as a comforting testament to diligence, patience, and the quiet artistry of daily life. This second glimpse into forgotten roles shows us that even in obscurity, work can possess a quiet dignity. Now, as the sun arcs higher and shadows shorten, we will transition into the final part of daily life immersion, meeting some of the most overlooked and enigmatic occupations, roles that are strange to our modern eyes, yet essential to the tapestry of Egyptian society. As the afternoon sun drifts toward its gentle descent, imagine yourself moving once more through the village streets, now dappled with long, soft shadows. The day's warmth lingers, wrapping the mud brick houses, sun-baked courtyards, and quiet riverbanks in a gentle embrace. The villagers continue their subtle, measured routines, each task performed with quiet precision. And among them are some of the most peculiar and forgotten professions that have ever existed in ancient Egypt. Take, for instance, the torch-bearers, whose work seems simple at first glance, yet holds a quiet, almost meditative rhythm. As twilight approaches, they prepare torches for temples, tombs, and private homes. Picture the slow twisting of reeds and resin-soaked fibers, the delicate handling of flammable oils, and the soft, almost imperceptible scent of burning resin when torches are lit. Though their work might appear modest, it illuminates spaces both sacred and mundane, allowing scribes to continue writing, artisans to finish carvings, and priests to perform evening rituals. The torchbearer's task is rhythmic, repetitive, and essential, a quiet heartbeat in the dimming hours. Nearby, fowl breeders care for ducks, geese, and chickens in carefully constructed pens. Imagine the subtle flapping of wings, the soft cooing and clucking filling the air, and the steady movement of workers attending to feed and water. Their labor is understated yet vital, ensuring a steady supply of eggs and meat for sustenance, temple offerings, and trade. They work slowly, with an almost meditative attention to detail, observing the animals, adjusting pens, and cleaning enclosures in a seamless rhythm that reflects a balance between nature and human order. In the quieter backstreets, the scribe apprentices can be seen hunched over small desks, carefully tracing hieroglyphs onto papyrus or wooden tablets. The soft scratching of reed pens, the muted rustle of papyrus sheets, and the occasional whisper of instruction create a gentle soundscape. These young learners move through each letter with patience, practicing the same strokes repeatedly, instilling both skill and discipline. Through this meticulous work, knowledge is preserved, stories are recorded, and the wisdom of generations is carefully passed forward, all within a tranquil, almost hypnotic rhythm. Elsewhere, map makers bend over bundles of reeds, weaving them into practical yet elegant sleeping mats. Imagine the steady interlacing of slender stalks, the soft friction of reed against reed, and the faint earthy aroma of natural fibers. Their work is slow and deliberate, each mat a subtle masterpiece of utility and craftsmanship. The rhythm of weaving, repeated again and again, forms a quiet meditation, a practice that nurtures patience as much as it produces a tangible object for everyday life. Another fascinating, almost forgotten profession is that of the butter churners. Picture cool, stone courtyards and sunlit kitchens where churners slowly agitate milk, creating butter through repetitive, measured movements. The soft sound of liquid swirling, the gentle motion of wooden tools, and the faint scent of cream and earth combine into a calm, sensory experience. Their labor is quiet and unassuming, yet it sustains nourishment and plays a subtle role in religious offerings, connecting the mundane to the sacred in ways that are rarely recognized. Even the tent menders, whose work takes place in the soft afternoon light, exemplify the understated artistry of daily life. These workers repair sunshades, temporary structures for markets, festivals, or riverbanks, sewing and stretching fabric with patient hands. Every stitch, every adjustment is performed slowly, carefully, ensuring durability and harmony with the environment. It is a quiet craft, unremarkable to passersby, yet essential to comfort, function, and the rhythm of communal life. Throughout these observations, the gentle pulse of Egyptian daily life becomes apparent. The peculiar and forgotten jobs, torch bearers, fowl breeders, apprentice scribes, mat makers, butter churners, and tent menders, reveal a civilization built on patience, routine, and subtle artistry. Life moves in measured cadence, with every action forming part of a larger pattern that sustains both ordinary living and sacred observance. The sun's descent casts a calming golden glow, accentuating the textures of reeds, mud brick, and linen, bathing the village in a warmth that seems to stretch time itself. As you imagine each worker's careful, repetitive gestures, allow your own thoughts to slow and drift along the gentle rhythms of this ancient society. Notice the harmony of action, the quiet diligence, and the almost hypnotic consistency that characterizes their lives. There is no rush here, only the steady unfolding of tasks, each performed with patience and care, offering a sense of continuity and calm across the centuries. Now, as the village prepares for evening and the faint flicker of torches begins to light doorways and temple steps, we gently close this first segment. You have walked among the everyday lives of those long forgotten, observing their peculiar yet purposeful roles. In the next segment, we will move from the calm of daily life to the lives of notable figures and fascinating events, biographies and stories that, while still delivered in our gentle, measured tone, reveal the human side of ancient Egypt's extraordinary past. As night begins to settle over the quiet village, imagine yourself stepping away from the bustling streets and entering the realm of individuals whose lives, though distant in time, leave gentle ripples through history. In this segment, we turn our attention to the biography of a less celebrated yet quietly remarkable figure, the scribe Neferhotep. Though his name may not echo in the grand halls of famous pharaohs, his work preserved knowledge, ritual, and record, shaping the cultural and administrative pulse of ancient Egypt. Picture Neferhotep's modest home, a simple structure of mud brick, with soft sunlight filtering through narrow windows, casting gentle patterns across the floor. In one corner, his tools rest. Smooth papyrus scrolls stacked carefully, reed pens laid side by side, and small bowls of ink in muted hues. Imagine the calm routine of his mornings, mixing pigments for ink, stretching papyrus, and testing the balance of his pens with careful strokes. Each motion is deliberate, almost ceremonial, and yet quietly practical. It is a rhythm that invites focus, a repetition that seems to suspend time, allowing thought to drift across letters and symbols as smoothly as a boat glides along the Nile. Neferhotep's work connects him to temples, officials, and merchants. He records harvests, legal decrees, and offerings for the gods. Imagine the subtle scent of papyrus and resin drifting through his workspace, mingling with the faint aroma of bread from nearby homes. His life is not marked by drama or conquest, but by the quiet accumulation of knowledge, the soft imprint of his hand on documents that will outlast generations. Each day, he walks slowly through corridors of administration, sometimes observing ceremonies, sometimes copying text with meticulous care. There's an almost meditative serenity in these repeated actions, a gentle rhythm that soothes both worker and observer. One of his most intriguing projects involves the documentation of temple festivals. Imagine Neferhotep sitting cross-legged on the cool floor of a shaded chamber, ink on hand, recording offerings of food, flowers, and crafted goods brought by villagers and priests alike. His attention to detail is absolute, capturing quantities, sequences, and a subtle hierarchy of ritual participation. These records, though simple in appearance, offer profound insights into social structure, religious devotion, and the interplay between daily life and sacred obligation. Even centuries later, they allow us to reconstruct the rhythms of a society that valued order, precision, and continuity. Neferhotep's life is not without quiet challenges. Paper and ink are precious, and errors must be avoided. The weight of responsibility rests lightly yet persistently on his shoulders. Imagine the soft scratching of reed on papyrus, the occasional pause to adjust a droplet of ink, and the careful re-examination of lines already drawn. It is work that demands patience, calm observation, and steady hands. Yet within this measured attention lies a certain grace, a satisfaction born of seeing order emerge from blank sheets, of capturing knowledge for posterity, of contributing to the invisible but essential architecture of civilization. Even his leisure is subdued but revealing. In the evenings, he may walk along the Nile, observing the quiet passage of boats, listening to distant calls of fishermen, or feeling the gentle brush of a river breeze. These moments provide calm reflection, a space where his mind can wander without urgency, weaving together personal insight, observation, and quiet creativity. Neferhotep's existence exemplifies a life not defined by power or spectacle, but by subtle influence, diligence, and devotion. Through the story of this single scribe, we gain a sense of the understated heartbeat of ancient Egypt. His life offers a lens into a world where knowledge, precision, and continuity were held in quiet esteem. Though he never leads armies or erects monuments, his careful hand preserves traditions, rituals, and the day-to-day workings of a civilization. Imagine tracing his steps along quiet temple halls, watching his pen glide across papyrus, hearing only the soft scratch and the occasional whisper of conversation. There's a soothing constancy in such labor, a sense of order that reaches across millennia to comfort those who listen now, drifting towards sleep. And as the moon begins to rise, casting pale light over the village and temples, Neferhotep completes his day. Scrolls are rolled, ink pots sealed, and tools carefully arranged. He retires, perhaps reclining on a simple mat, eyes resting on the ceiling's warm plaster. In his modest, disciplined existence, we witness the subtle interplay of ordinary life and extraordinary purpose, a reminder that even quiet, largely forgotten individuals leave enduring echoes. As you let these scenes settle in your mind, imagine the steady rhythm of his days, the calm diligence, and the quiet dedication that marks his life. In the next part of this segment, we will continue exploring Neferhotep's contributions, revealing more of the fascinating events and minor, yet significant discoveries he documented, always in our gentle, unhurried narrative, allowing your thoughts to drift like soft river currents. As twilight deepens across the Nile, imagine yourself walking alongside Neferhotep, the scribe whose quiet diligence forms the invisible spine of Egyptian history. His days are not filled with battle or grandeur, but with careful observation, documentation, and subtle influence. In this second part, we explore more of the events he records, giving life to moments that, while seemingly mundane, echo across centuries with gentle resonance. One of his notable tasks involves chronicling the preparation and construction of temple offerings. Picture the temple courtyard, bathed in soft golden light, where workers carry baskets of grain, fruits, and crafted goods. Neferhotep observes carefully, his pen gliding across papyrus, capturing the hierarchy of duties, the sequence of rituals, and the movement of each participant. There is a quiet artistry in his work, a subtle rhythm between observation and recording. He notes the placement of items, the timing of chants, and the delicate balance between sacred obligation and practical necessity. The soft murmur of chanting priests mixes with the gentle rustle of offerings, creating a soothing, almost meditative soundscape. His records also extend to smaller, everyday events that reveal the human side of ancient Egypt. For instance, Neferhotep documents the schedules of local craftsmen and laborers, including the odd and forgotten roles we encountered earlier: torchbearers, linen folders, and fowl breeders. Imagine him sitting under the dappled shade of a palm, inked reeds in hand, as he notes the precision with which each artisan works, the careful repetition of mundane yet vital tasks. Though these moments might appear trivial, they reveal the rhythm and interconnectedness of society, and through his calm, measured writing, the seemingly minor details acquire gentle significance. Occasionally, he witnesses events that are unusual or peculiar even in this well-ordered world. Consider a festival day when acrobats, musicians, and dancers pass through the temple grounds. Neferhotep records their movements with patience, detailing the arrangement of performers, the timing of musical instruments, and the subtle gestures of the crowd. Though lively, these festivals unfold in a measured, predictable cadence, with everyone aware of their role and position. The scribe's observations allow us, centuries later, to imagine not only the spectacle, but also the quiet discipline that underpins the celebrations. Neferhotep also encounters minor administrative disputes and reconciliations. Picture a village meeting where grain distribution is questioned or a small miscount corrected. He writes these occurrences with a gentle detachment, recording names, amounts, and outcomes without judgment or drama. There's a soothing calm in this approach, a rhythm in cataloging the ebb and flow of daily challenges. Even moments of tension are muted by the steady hands and patient mind of the scribe, transforming potential chaos into ordered narrative. Another of his subtle but significant contributions lies in documenting seasonal cycles and natural phenomena. Imagine him seated near the riverbank, observing the rise and fall of the Nile, the slow migration of birds, or the flowering of lotus. He notes these cycles carefully, for they guide planting, harvesting, and ritual timing. The gentle repetition of natural patterns mirrors the calm steadiness of his own life, reinforcing the harmony between human endeavor and the world around him. Through his meticulous recordings, Neferhotep preserves not only facts, but the very essence of lived experience. The quiet gestures, the orderly labor, the soft rituals that structure existence. He provides a window into a world where life is governed not by loud heroics, but by patient dedication, careful observation, and disciplined continuity. Imagine following his hand across the papyrus, tracing the loops and angles of hieroglyphs, feeling the serenity embedded in each stroke. Even as minor crises arise, an unripe harvest, a delayed shipment, a misaligned offering, Neferhotep's calm, methodical documentation stabilizes the world around him. His life exemplifies the subtle influence of those who, without fanfare or recognition, maintain the harmony of society. Each recorded event, whether extraordinary or routine, becomes part of a slow, comforting rhythm that guides the reader or listener through history with gentle consistency. As night deepens, imagine Neferhotep returning home, rolling up his scrolls, and extinguishing the last flickering oil lamp. His day ends as quietly as it began, yet the knowledge and order he preserves endure far beyond his own lifetime. Through his pen, the gentle pulse of Egyptian civilization, its overlooked workers, its rituals, and its rhythms are captured for posterity. And as you envision these moments alongside him, your mind too may begin to settle into the same calm cadence, drifting gently through the slow, persistent heartbeat of a civilization that balanced daily life, ritual, and knowledge with measured care. With this second part complete, we have walked alongside a remarkable figure, witnessing both the ordinary and subtly extraordinary events he chronicled. In the final part of this segment, we will softly conclude our exploration of Neferhotep, reflecting on his enduring contributions and the quiet yet profound ways individuals shaped the course of history. As the stars begin to appear over the Nile, imagine Neferhotep's day drawing quietly to a close, yet his work continues to echo through time in subtle, enduring ways. In this final part of his story, we gently explore the quieter moments and lasting contributions of this devoted scribe, whose life, though modest, shaped the documentation and understanding of ancient Egypt for centuries to come. Picture him in the soft, fading light of evening, seated on a simple mat with papyrus scrolls spread before him. The gentle flicker of an oil lamp illuminates the room, casting warm, wavering shadows across the mud brick walls. He carefully reviews his day's records, checking quantities, observing patterns, and ensuring that all details are precise. Each movement is deliberate, a rhythm formed over years of practice, as soothing to the mind as the gentle lap of the river against the bank. Neferhotep's notes encompass more than official events. They preserve the subtle flow of everyday life. He records minor festivals, seasonal changes, the comings and goings of laborers, and even small administrative adjustments. Imagine the soft scratching of his reed pen across papyrus, the faint scent of ink and resin mingling with the warm night air. In these quiet acts, he captures the heartbeat of his society, an invisible but steady pulse of order, care, and continuity. Sometimes he visits temples, observing the preparation of offerings or the delicate arrangement of ceremonial items. Each observation is carefully logged, noting the sequence of gestures, the hierarchy of participants, and the precise placement of ritual objects. There is a meditative calm in this work, a soft focus that demands patience yet rewards the mind with clarity and continuity. The ebb and flow of ceremony mirrors the ebb and flow of daily life, the quiet repetition of tasks, and the enduring structures of Egyptian culture. Even mundane moments carry quiet significance in his records. A grain measure counted correctly, a boat arriving at the dock on time, or a fowl delivered to the temple. All are noted with measured attention. These small events, though easily overlooked, reveal the meticulous orchestration required to sustain life, trade, and ritual. Imagine the steady rhythm of his day, the soft footsteps of workers outside, the distant rustle of reeds along the riverbank, and the faint murmur of evening prayers, each sound part of a calming, continuous narrative. Neferhotep also documents the work of those who support the sacred and administrative structures, torch-bearers lighting evening corridors, incense carriers moving softly through temple halls, and apprentices practicing hieroglyphs under watchful eyes. Picture the subtle interplay of light and shadow, the gentle cadence of repeated gestures, the sense of order that underpins both mundane and ritual activity. Through his pen, the minor yet essential labors of countless individuals are preserved, offering us centuries later a quiet window into a world often overlooked. His life, though removed from the grandeur of pharaohs and monumental construction, demonstrates the enduring impact of diligence, observation, and careful record-keeping. Neferhotep's work allows us to reconstruct daily life, festivals, seasonal cycles, and societal structure with a richness and depth that few other sources provide. Imagine tracing his steps, observing the calm rhythm of his day, and sensing the quiet satisfaction in performing each task with care and precision. As night deepens, he carefully rolls his completed scrolls, storing them in neat stacks for future use. The flickering lamp is extinguished, and a gentle stillness settles over his modest home. In these quiet moments, there's a profound reminder of the subtle power of persistence and attention to detail. One life, lived with patience and care, creates echoes that endure far longer than fleeting grandeur, leaving traces that continue to inform and inspire long after the individual has passed. And as you imagine the soft flicker of candlelight, the gentle rustle of papyrus, and the measured, quiet steps of Neferhotep returning to rest. Allow yourself to sink further into calm reflection. The rhythm of his life, the gentle unfolding of events, and the meticulous care with which he preserves knowledge offer not only insight into ancient Egypt, but also a soothing cadence for your own mind. With this, we conclude our exploration of Neferhotep's life and the subtle yet enduring influence of forgotten scribes and chroniclers. In the next segment, we will transition from individual biography to mystery, archaeology, and cultural curiosities, strange discoveries and enigmatic practices that invite gentle contemplation rather than urgency, continuing our soft journey through ancient Egypt. As the quiet night deepens, let us leave the calm diligence of scribes and daily life and drift into a world of gentle mystery, soft discovery, and subtle archaeology. Ancient Egypt, beyond its temples and bustling villages, holds layers of secrets, often hidden in plain sight, waiting for patient observation rather than hurried excavation. Imagine yourself stepping slowly into this hidden world, where time itself seems suspended, and even the smallest fragment can reveal stories long forgotten. Consider, for instance, the curious case of mummified animals. Not pharaohs or noble humans, but cats, birds, and even crocodiles, carefully prepared and laid to rest with ritual reverence. Picture a quiet tomb chamber, the air still and thick with a faint, sweet incense. Tiny feline mummies are arranged with delicate precision, each wrapped in linen with meticulous care. Though at first glance these creatures seem simple or even whimsical, their preservation reflects a society in which symbolic meaning and spiritual care extended beyond humans. The act of mummifying animals was both sacred and routine, an intimate rhythm of devotion. And as you imagine these small forms resting undisturbed for millennia, there's a serene wonder in the patience and precision that went into their preparation. Nearby, archaeological discoveries of minor, almost forgotten artifacts invite calm reflection. Imagine brushing gently across a dusty dig site, revealing small clay figurines, intricately painted pots, or fragments of jewelry. Each piece, quiet and unassuming, hints at the daily lives, beliefs, and aesthetics of people long past. There is no rush here, only the slow uncovering of layers, a gentle lifting of history from its slumber. The soft brushing of dust, the careful movement of tools, and the attentive observation all create a tranquil rhythm, akin to meditation, as ancient whispers emerge softly into the present. Another enigma lies in the peculiar amulets and charms worn by villagers and priests alike. These small objects, carved from stone, bone, or faience, carry symbolic meaning and protective power. Imagine holding a tiny scarab or a slender pendant shaped like a lotus, the edges worn smooth by handling over generations. Each piece tells a story of belief, ritual, and care, quietly connecting humans to divine forces. Observing these objects gently allows one to trace the patterns of thought and devotion in a civilization that valued subtle symbolism as much as monumental architecture. The hidden chambers of tombs also offer soft fascination. Picture narrow passageways, cool shadows, and walls etched with muted hieroglyphs. The chambers are silent, yet they pulse with history. Carefully documented inscriptions reveal names, minor rituals, and domestic practices of individuals otherwise lost to time. There is no drama here, only slow revelation. The discovery of even a small room or a partially intact statue provides a quiet meditation on the lives of those who lived and labored under the Egyptian sun, their existence preserved in stone and pigment for those willing to observe with patience. Even the seemingly mundane tools and implements offer gentle insight into daily practices. Recovered chisels, pottery wheels, and simple wooden instruments speak to the careful, unhurried labor of craftsmen. Imagine the smooth grain of a wooden handle, the subtle curve of a pottery wheel, the faint traces of clay adhering to an edge. Each item reflects repetition, skill, and a deliberate pace that guided generations. Observing these artifacts allows one to reconstruct the subtle rhythm of life, where even work is infused with quiet order and understated artistry. Finally, there are ritual inscriptions on temple walls, some barely visible or tucked in narrow corners. Imagine running your eyes slowly along faded glyphs, the meaning softened by time, yet conveying a sense of devotion, social organization, or communal aspiration. These inscriptions are not about spectacle, but about continuity, messages left carefully for both contemporaries and the distant future. Each mark, each symbol, is part of a gentle pattern, a soft murmur of human life preserved through careful labor and thoughtful design. In this first part of Mysteries and Archaeology, notice the calm cadence. Mummified animals resting quietly, small artifacts uncovered slowly, amulets whispering symbolism, hidden chambers echoing silent lives, and everyday tools reflecting measured labor. Each element invites gentle attention and observation, allowing the mind to wander, drift, and rest. In these quiet details, ancient Egypt reveals itself not only through grandeur, but through intimacy, patience, and subtle complexity. As you imagine the soft illumination of lamplight on small artifacts, the careful hands uncovering secrets of the past, and the serene stillness of hidden chambers, allow your thoughts to glide with the same calm patience. The mysteries of ancient Egypt are not urgent. They are gentle invitations to slow contemplation, offering a soothing rhythm for both mind and imagination. And as we prepare to continue in the next part, we will explore more peculiar cultural practices and archaeological curiosities, each revealing the understated wonders of a civilization that whispers across millennia. As the night deepens over the Nile, imagine yourself stepping softly into spaces that were once hidden from casual eyes. Quiet chambers, neglected tombs, and overlooked corners of ancient settlements. In these places, the subtle mysteries of Egyptian culture whisper across time, inviting a slow, contemplative attention. The artifacts and practices we encounter here are often overlooked by history's grand narratives. Yet they reveal the measured rhythm, the careful observation, and the understated artistry of a civilization attuned to both the practical and the sacred. Consider, for example, the strange votive figurines discovered in minor temples and household shrines. These small clay or stone figures, sometimes depicting humans, sometimes animals, were offered to gods in hopes of protection, fertility, or prosperity. Imagine a quiet room, soft sunlight filtering through latticed windows, illuminating rows of tiny statues. Each figurine is carefully shaped, painted with muted pigments, and arranged with deliberate symmetry. Though simple, they reveal the beliefs, hopes, and everyday practices of ordinary Egyptians, preserved in forms that are small yet significant. Nearby, ancient medical tools hint at the subtlety of Egyptian knowledge. Imagine gently handling small bronze scalpels, stone mortars, and reed probes. They are not dramatic instruments of surgery, as we might imagine, but carefully crafted tools for herbal remedies, minor procedures, and diagnostic observation. The faint patina of age, the smoothness worn by repeated use, and the precise shapes all speak of measured attention and considered practice. Even in the realm of healing, life in ancient Egypt was approached slowly, thoughtfully, and with patient care. In the deeper recesses of temples and administrative buildings, one can encounter secret storerooms holding unusual items, ceremonial oils, colored sands, and delicate ritual implements. Picture walking slowly among shelves, observing each item arranged neatly, as if time itself had paused. The air carries the faint fragrance of resins and dried plants, soft and comforting rather than overpowering. Each object tells a quiet story of devotion, practicality, and the human desire to leave traces of intention for future observers. Among the most peculiar finds are ritual boards and game pieces. Some are used for divination, others for entertainment. Yet each is decorated with symbols, colors, and forms that connect to spiritual or social practices. Imagine the gentle lines of hieroglyphs, small painted motifs of animals and deities, and the soft textures of wood and stone. These artifacts, quietly functional yet artistically meaningful, illustrate the blending of leisure, ritual, and symbolic thought, a hallmark of Egyptian culture often unnoticed in broader histories. Even mundane tools carry subtle enchantments. Fishing hooks, pottery wheels, and weaving implements are occasionally found with tiny inscriptions or painted symbols, imbuing everyday labor with a spiritual or protective quality. Picture a simple reed hook, smoothed by repeated use, adorned with a small scarab motif. Such details reveal a culture in which work, play, and ritual coexist in gentle harmony, each infused with intention and quiet reverence. Observing them encourages the mind to slow, tracing the calm repetition of human hands shaping, crafting, and sustaining life. Finally, imagine wandering through partially uncovered tombs, where soft shadows reveal inscriptions barely visible on walls. These glyphs record minor events, family names, and subtle prayers for protection. They are not the grand proclamations of pharaohs, but rather intimate traces of individual lives. The slow revelation of these inscriptions, combined with careful observation, allows a meditative reconstruction of ordinary existence and belief. The rhythm of discovery, the gentle pattern of symbol and story, offers a soothing cadence for the mind, a soft invitation to linger in thought without urgency. Through these overlooked mysteries, one begins to see that ancient Egypt is a civilization not solely defined by grandeur or spectacle, but also by quiet observation, careful craft, and subtle devotion. Mysterious artifacts, small votive figures, gentle inscriptions, and ritual implements form a continuous thread that connects the living with the eternal. Their existence invites reflection, imagination, and calm. As you picture these spaces, these objects, and the patient hands that created and tended them, allow yourself to drift along the same slow rhythm, where curiosity is gentle, observation is soft, and wonder is quiet rather than urgent. In this second part, we have explored deeper layers of mystery and culture, tiny figurines, ritual tools, mundane implements imbued with meaning, and inscriptions quietly preserved. Each reveals an understated yet profound aspect of life, inviting gentle attention and reflection. As we prepare to continue in the next part, we will move toward the final glimpses of peculiar cultural practices and enigmatic discoveries, all presented in our soothing, measured style, ready to carry your thoughts further along the calm current of ancient Egypt. As the night deepens and the stars glimmer softly above the Nile, imagine yourself wandering through the quiet, hidden corners of ancient Egypt, where secrets linger and whispers of forgotten lives gently persist. In this final part of our exploration of mystery and archaeology, we focus on the subtle, enigmatic traces of culture that endure in delicate forms, artifacts, and quiet practices. These discoveries, though often minor or peculiar, carry a calming rhythm that invites slow reflection. Consider, for instance, the miniature funerary models found in tombs. Tiny boats, granaries, and domestic scenes are carefully arranged, often painted in muted colors, and scaled to fit within narrow tomb chambers. Imagine a small wooden granary, its lid slightly ajar, a miniature representation of the provisions intended for the afterlife. These models were not mere decoration. They were symbolic tools, ensuring continuity of life beyond death. The soft, deliberate craftsmanship of these tiny items reflects the patient, measured attention that characterizes much of Egyptian material culture. Observing them encourages a meditative focus, tracing gentle lines and patterns with the imagination, letting the mind wander slowly through the care invested in each creation. Nearby, enigmatic inscriptions and graffiti on walls, columns, and pottery invite subtle curiosity. Often simple and unobtrusive, these marks record names, wishes, minor events, or even playful doodles by those long past. Imagine a faint line etched into plaster, slightly faded, telling a story of a person, a date, or a fleeting thought. These seemingly minor traces humanize the past, revealing ordinary lives and quiet intentions amid grand monuments and ceremonial spaces. There is a soothing quality in such discoveries, a reminder that even the smallest mark can persist across centuries, gently connecting us to others who lived long before. Some tombs and temples contain hidden alcoves where unusual offerings were placed, small vessels of oil, grains, or incense tucked into corners, sometimes accompanied by amulets or charms. Picture the careful placement of each item, arranged with intention and reverence, yet often overlooked in the broader scope of monumental architecture. These subtle acts of devotion, repeated over generations, create a soft echo of ritual and belief. The quiet precision and thoughtfulness imbued in each gesture offers a calming rhythm, a meditative glimpse into human care and continuity. Another curiosity lies in craft objects with dual purpose, ordinary items enhanced with symbolic or ritual meaning. A spindle used for weaving may bear a tiny carving of a protective deity. A pottery vessel for daily storage might carry painted symbols invoking good fortune. Imagine handling such an object gently, appreciating both its practical form and the subtle artistry that transforms it into a bearer of intention and tradition. These dual-purpose artifacts invite reflection, a gentle meditation on the intertwining of work, belief, and creativity in daily life. Even minor artistic expressions, such as small painted scenes on tomb walls depicting animals, farmers, or celestial motifs, reveal profound insight. Their muted colors, repetitive patterns, and careful proportions convey a slow, attentive observation of the world. Imagine the gentle sweep of a painter's brush, the careful layering of pigments, and the rhythmic repetition of lines and shapes. These artistic traces are not intended to startle or excite, but to preserve harmony, ritual, and a sense of continuity, qualities that are particularly soothing to the mind when imagined in quiet contemplation. Finally, consider the small archaeological surprises that continue to emerge from forgotten corners. Tiny fragments of jewelry, partial figurines, or inscriptions that speak softly of past lives. Each discovery, gentle and unassuming, is a reminder that history is layered, subtle, and enduring. The process of uncovering these fragments, slowly, carefully, without haste, mirrors the calm rhythm of ancient Egyptian life itself. It invites you, as a listener, to move with patience and quiet curiosity, tracing the contours of human care, ritual, and creativity. Through these enigmatic traces, miniature models, hidden offerings, symbolic craft objects, quiet inscriptions, and minor artistic expressions, we see a civilization attentive to detail, rhythm, and continuity. The subtle mysteries of ancient Egypt offer gentle fascination, a measured pace, and a soothing invitation to linger in thought. As you picture these quiet chambers, delicate artifacts, and carefully placed offerings, allow your mind to settle into the slow current of history, drifting along the soft, enduring pulse of human endeavor. And as we close this segment of mystery and archaeology, imagine the soft flicker of lamps in hidden tombs, the quiet alignment of tiny objects, and the meditative act of discovery. These gentle mysteries, preserved across millennia, guide us calmly toward the final segment, where we will explore the contrasting worlds of social hierarchy, elite lives, and daily labor, all presented with the same tranquil cadence, preparing your mind for a deeper, peaceful journey through ancient Egypt. As the soft glow of dawn begins to filter across the Nile, imagine yourself shifting from the quiet mysteries of tombs and artifacts to the nuanced world of social contrasts in ancient Egypt. Here, life unfolds differently depending on one's place in society. Yet even in these differences, a rhythm persists, gentle, measured, and soothing to observe. In this first part, we will explore the lives of the elite, the daily comforts they enjoyed, and the subtle contrast to common villagers, all presented with the same calm, reflective tone. Picture a noble household at daybreak, mud brick walls illuminated by the soft morning sun. Courtyards open onto shaded areas where servants quietly perform their duties, sweeping floors, drawing water from wells, or tending to gardens filled with herbs and flowers. Imagine the scent of lavender, coriander, and fresh water mingling in the air, carrying a calm fragrance that seems to settle the entire household. The elite themselves move slowly, seated on low stools or woven mats, sipping lightly flavored wine or honeyed water, while attendants quietly arrange cushions and textiles, ensuring both comfort and order. In these households, the rhythm of life is deliberate and measured. Linen garments are carefully folded and adjusted. Jewelry is polished, and simple meals are prepared with meticulous attention to presentation. Imagine observing the soft sheen of finely woven cloth, the gentle clinking of small jewelry pieces, and the muted aroma of bread baking in sun-warmed ovens. Even leisure is orchestrated with precision. Gentle games of senate on small boards, quiet conversations in shaded corridors, or reflective walks through carefully tended gardens. Each activity, though tranquil, maintains an underlying structure that distinguishes elite life from that of laborers or artisans. Yet the contrasts are subtle, not jarring. Outside the noble residence, workers and craftsmen maintain a steady rhythm of labor. Imagine men drawing water, women grinding grain, and children assisting with small household chores, all in quiet cadence. Their actions deliberate and repetitive. Though materially different, both elites and commoners share a connection to cycles of nature, ritual observance, and the gentle repetition of daily tasks. Observing both worlds side by side, one notices a quiet symmetry, a balance between labor and leisure, service and comfort, simplicity and refinement. In elite households, education and refinement are often emphasized. Young scribes or attendants may practice writing, mathematics, or ritual recitations under the watchful eye of experienced tutors. Imagine the soft scratching of reed pens, the gentle murmur of instruction, and the careful repetition of hieroglyphs or arithmetic tables. The pace is slow and unhurried, allowing the mind to absorb patterns and develop skill without stress or haste. This measured approach mirrors the broader rhythms of life, where discipline and observation coexist with comfort and aesthetic enjoyment. Even rituals and ceremonies within elite homes are conducted with calm deliberation. Picture the morning offering of food and incense to household gods, small statues, or ancestors. The gestures are precise yet soft, the incantations gentle, and the aroma of incense subtle and soothing. There is a deliberate harmony in these actions, a quiet rhythm that connects material life to spiritual observance. The elite experience, though more adorned and leisurely, shares this meditative quality with the simpler practices of ordinary villagers. The interplay of light, texture, and movement in elite spaces is particularly gentle. Soft morning light falls on smooth limestone floors, reflects off polished wooden furniture, and highlights the muted colors of murals depicting harvests, animals, and celestial motifs. Gentle breezes carry the scent of flowers from inner courtyards, moving quietly through open windows. Attendants pass softly along corridors, ensuring comfort without disruption, while pets, perhaps cats or small dogs, move with calm grace, adding life and warmth to otherwise orderly spaces. Through these observations, one begins to understand the subtleties of social contrast. Not stark inequality, but differences in pace, refinement, and comfort. Both elite and common lives unfold in deliberate rhythm, attentive to cycles of labor, leisure, and ritual. The presence of quiet structure and repetition in every task, from tending animals to preparing offerings, from weaving cloth to composing inscriptions, forms a soothing continuity. Imagining these scenes allows your mind to drift gently between the worlds of privilege and labor, noticing how each exists within its own measured cadence. As you picture noble courtyards, shaded corridors, attentive attendants, and the faint fragrance of morning flowers, allow yourself to absorb the calm rhythm of elite daily life. These quiet contrasts, paired with the repetitive, measured patterns of ordinary life, form a tapestry of gentle human activity that extends across society. In the next part of this segment, we will explore more intimate moments, social interactions, and leisurely pursuits among the elite, deepening our understanding of the serene complexity of ancient Egyptian social life. As the sun climbs higher, imagine yourself lingering in the serene spaces of elite households, where every movement, gesture, and sound follows a gentle rhythm. In this part, we explore deeper social interactions, leisurely pursuits, and subtle contrasts between the lives of the wealthy and the quieter routines of ordinary citizens. Even as we focus on privilege, the narrative remains soft, soothing, and meditative, emphasizing patterns and routines rather than drama or spectacle. Visualize a tranquil courtyard where family members gather beneath the shade of date palms, their linen garments softly swaying in the gentle morning breeze. Attendants move quietly, replenishing water basins, arranging cushions, and tending to small gardens of herbs and flowers. Imagine the faint scent of jasmine or coriander carried by the wind, mingling with the earthy aroma of baked bread from nearby kitchens. Every action is deliberate yet unhurried, creating a measured rhythm that soothes both residents and observer alike. Within these households, leisurely activities occupy much of the day. Consider games such as Senet, played on finely carved boards with polished pieces. Picture the slow, careful placement of pieces, the soft murmur of commentary, and the gentle laughter of participants. These games are not competitive in the modern sense, but rather serve as a reflection of order, strategy, and thoughtful contemplation. Even as participants engage, the pace is calm, allowing the mind to wander and settle into the gentle cadence of play. Education and intellectual pursuits are also integral. Young members of elite households may receive instruction in reading, writing, music, and ritual knowledge. Imagine a tutor's soft voice guiding a child's hand as it traces hieroglyphs on smooth papyrus, the quiet scratching of reed pens forming a meditative rhythm. Music, too, is practiced carefully, the plucking of a lyre, the soft tapping of a drum, or the gentle breath through a flute. These subtle sounds, unhurried and soothing, fill courtyards and chambers, offering both instruction and calm reflection. Even social interactions are marked by gentle decorum. Visitors are greeted with measured politeness. Conversations follow a slow cadence, and gestures of respect, hands lightly clasped, bows of the head, or subtle inclinations, reinforce harmony. Imagine a quiet gathering where merchants, scribes, or fellow nobles exchange soft words about seasonal plans, minor harvest yields, or ritual schedules. Though social hierarchies are evident, the interaction is calm and structured, free from the urgency or chaos one might expect in more public settings. Meals are prepared with care, emphasizing refinement and repetition. Picture breads, fruits, and prepared fish arranged on simple yet elegant trays, accompanied by wine or sweetened water. Each portion is deliberate in placement, each flavor selected for subtle enjoyment rather than indulgence. Attendants move quietly, replenishing dishes, pouring beverages, and ensuring the space remains orderly and serene. The act of dining, though luxurious by common standards, carries the same gentle rhythm and attentiveness found throughout the household. Pets, often cats or small dogs, contribute to the atmosphere of tranquility. Imagine a cat winding slowly through columns, its movements soft and fluid, occasionally brushing against a shaded corner or curling near the base of statue. Even these small creatures participate in the household's rhythm, offering quiet companionship without disrupting the measured flow of life. Their presence reinforces a gentle, soothing environment, adding warmth and life to the composed spaces. Observing the world outside, the contrast with commoners remains subtle yet telling. Farmers, artisans and laborers continue their repetitive, methodical tasks, drawing water, weaving mats, tending livestock, or grinding grain. Their actions, though essential and unadorned, share the same quiet cadence as the elite routines, creating a harmonious balance across social strata. This gentle contrast highlights the diversity of experiences in ancient Egypt while maintaining a continuous, calming rhythm for the observer. Through these intimate glimpses of elite leisure, education, social interaction, and care for domestic life, we sense the layering of society. Differences in comfort and refinement, yes, but a shared adherence to rhythm, structure, and quiet purpose. The repetition of tasks, the soft gestures of politeness, and the attentive observation of surroundings create a meditative environment. As you picture these spaces, sounds, and scents, your mind drifts along the measured currents of daily life, settling into a calm awareness of human continuity across centuries. And as the day in these noble households moves gently toward afternoon, you can feel the subtle interplay between work, leisure, and reflection, echoing through both elite and common spaces. In the final part of this segment, we will explore the culmination of daily life contrasts, intimate social rituals, and reflective moments, softly drawing this rich tapestry of ancient Egyptian life to a close. As the soft warmth of afternoon light fills noble courtyards and shaded chambers, imagine yourself following the final hours of daily life among Egypt's elite. Here, time flows with a quiet cadence, structured yet gentle, a rhythm that balances comfort, ritual, and reflection. In this final part of our segment, we explore intimate social rituals, evening routines, and the subtle interplay between elite and common life, allowing the mind to drift along the gentle currents of history. Visualize a family gathering for the late afternoon meal. The table is simple yet elegant. Fresh bread, fruits, lightly salted fish, and small portions of honey or dates arranged carefully on trays. Attendants move softly, replenishing water or wine, adjusting mats, and maintaining a sense of calm order. Imagine the quiet clinking of ceramic bowls, the soft murmur of conversation, and the occasional gentle laughter of children. Each gesture is deliberate, each movement measured, reflecting an environment designed to soothe, structure, and comfort. After the meal, leisure and education continue side by side. Picture young scribes practicing hieroglyphs, while others listen to music softly played on lyres or flutes. The melodies are slow and reflective, designed not to startle, but to encourage contemplation and focus. Attendants may read aloud minor stories, hymns, or wisdom texts, their soft voices weaving a pattern of calm sound. Even the smallest interactions, the placement of a cup, the correction of a pen stroke, the gentle guidance of posture, reflect a measured attention to order, rhythm, and patience. As evening approaches, small rituals bring a sense of continuity and connection. Household gods, ancestor statues, and minor shrines are attended with quiet care. Picture the gentle lifting of incense, the soft alignment of offerings, and the careful placement of symbolic objects. Each gesture is subtle, almost meditative, creating a rhythmic cycle that links daily life with broader spiritual practice. These moments are neither dramatic nor urgent. They exist to preserve harmony, offering both participants and observers a soft sense of continuity and reflection. Even the transition from day to night is carefully observed. Shadows lengthen across courtyards and corridors. Sunlight filters through latticed windows, and the gentle movement of air carries the mingled scents of herbs, flowers, and baked bread. Cats move silently across shaded floors. Small dogs curl beside resting children, and attendants adjust mats or cushions for comfort. The entire household moves in quiet synchrony, a slow dance of attention, care, and repetition, creating a soothing atmosphere that encourages contemplation and restfulness. Outside the walls, ordinary citizens continue their steady routines, maintaining crops, tending livestock, and performing daily tasks. While material conditions differ, the rhythm of repetition, care, and observation parallels that of the elite. Farmers rise with the sun, grind grain, draw water, and prepare modest meals with the same patient attention seen within the noble households. Observing these contrasting yet parallel rhythms encourages a gentle reflection on human continuity, the shared patterns of effort and care that connect lives across social strata. Even the small details of elite life carry subtle reflection. Polished furniture, neatly folded textiles, carefully arranged ornaments, and even the gentle alignment of cushions reflect an attention to order and repetition. These acts, though minor, form a consistent cadence that echoes across the household. Imagine tracing the lines of a painted mural, noting the careful repetition of motifs, or observing the soft sweep of an attendant's hand arranging a mat. Each action, repeated over generations, contributes to the calm continuity of life, grounding both past and present in quiet order. Through these observations, one senses that ancient Egyptian society, though marked by social contrasts, operates on shared rhythms of care, repetition, and measured attention. The elite experience, though more adorned and leisurely, mirrors the underlying cadence found in common life. Both worlds unfold slowly, deliberately, and gently, offering the mind a soothing, reflective pattern. As evening deepens, these contrasts dissolve into a unified, calming narrative of daily life, preparing the listener for gentle closure. In this final part, we have softly concluded our exploration of social and elite life, from intimate domestic routines to quiet leisure, education, and ritual observance. With this understanding, we are ready to move toward the closing segment, where reflections on these ancient rhythms, subtle contrasts, and enduring practices will lull the mind into calmness, preparing for a gentle descent towards sleep. As the sun finally dips beneath the horizon and the Nile reflects the soft hues of twilight, allow yourself to rest gently in the quiet spaces of ancient Egypt we have explored together. From the meticulous records of humble scribes to the curious mysteries hidden in tombs, from the serene rhythm of daily labor to the subtle comforts of elite households, we have journeyed slowly through centuries of human life, observation, and care. The patterns, the repetitions, and the gentle contrasts form a tapestry of continuity, quiet echoes of civilization that continues to whisper across millennia. Imagine the soft flicker of lamps in quiet chambers, the subtle aroma of herbs and incense lingering in shaded courtyards, and the delicate movement of attendants or pets in noble homes. Picture the careful alignment of cushions, the gentle scratching of pens on papyrus, and the measured placing of offerings and objects, each detail a small but enduring trace of human presence. These moments, ordinary yet meaningful, remind us that life, even thousands of years ago, unfolded with patience, care, and rhythm. Observing them, you may feel a gentle alignment with that same unhurried cadence, letting your mind slow, settle, and soften. Even the peculiarities, the mummified animals, miniature figurines, subtle inscriptions, and hidden ritual spaces, invite calm reflection rather than urgency. They are not meant to thrill or shock, but to offer a quiet window into human creativity, belief, and devotion. In contemplating them, you can drift alongside the patient hands that crafted, arranged, and preserved, allowing yourself to float in the gentle current of history, letting each soft detail soothe your thoughts. Now, as evening deepens, consider the contrast we have observed. The measured life of elite households alongside the diligent rhythm of workers and artisans, the sacred observances alongside the mundane tasks, the subtle artistic expressions alongside the practical implements. Together, these elements form a continuous and comforting rhythm, a reminder that life has always been composed of small, repeated patterns, both ordinary and profound. By following these echoes of the past, you can feel a sense of quiet continuity, a thread linking human experience across the vast stretches of time. And so, as our journey comes to a gentle close, Allow your thoughts to drift freely among the soft images, the measured rhythms, and the enduring details of ancient Egyptian life. Let the calm cadence of history carry you toward rest, knowing that the world of scribes, workers, mystics, and nobles continues in a quiet harmony that transcends time. You may dim your lights, breathe slowly, and sink into the same patient rhythms that guided life along the Nile, letting sleep arrive naturally and gently. Thank you for joining me, the sleepy historian, in this slow journey through the hidden layers and gentle rhythms of ancient Egypt. If this kind of calm, soft storytelling has brought you peace, feel free to like this video, subscribe for more quiet histories, and share in the comments where you're listening from tonight. There is a strange comfort in knowing others are quietly drifting along these same ancient pathways, resting their minds and hearts in the gentle cadence of history. Let the stories linger softly as you close your eyes, and may your dreams flow as gently as the timeless waters of the Nile.